So we talk about financial valuation and strategic valuation when you sell a company. And as we've said, financial valuation is the discounted cash flow of the business. And if I have your financial statements, your balance sheet, your profit and loss, your cash flow, I can give it to any finance MBA or any decent CPA, and we can figure out a discounted value of those cash flows. But businesses really have strategic value, and each buyer has their own idea of how strategic value is created, but that values the business above just the discounted cash flow. The analogy that I use, I want you to think about, let's say we're in the market to buy a house, right? And you have a budget of $1 million and I have a budget of $1 million and a third person has a budget of $1 million. And so we go online and we look for a house and we find an area we want to buy in, and there's a house listed for sale and it happens to be listed for $1 million. So we've all agreed collectively that's about the right price. The seller of the house, it's about the right price. They probably have a realtor. The realtor said, yeah, it's worth about $1 million. So we go to look at it. And the first person is a gourmet chef. They love the kitchen, right? It's amazing. It's been redone recently. And so they're super excited about the kitchen. Maybe they're willing to pay 1.1 million because that's the kitchen of their dream. So they're close to the financial value, but they'll go up a little bit. And maybe you're an outdoor guy, or like you love the back gardens and that's really important to you. Maybe this house needs a lot of work there. So your budget's $1 million, but if you buy this house, you're gonna have to put some money in. Maybe you're at 950,000. I'm right down the middle. I'm willing to pay $1 million. Yeah, nice kitchen, backyard, who cares? So I'm at $1 million. So the three of us are gonna bid on the house. We're gonna lose to the gourmet chef, but we're all gonna be pretty close. But while you're wandering around outside figuring out why you don't like it, the chef's in the kitchen looking at the refrigerator, I wander up into the attic. And I notice there's a piece of drywall in the attic that's away, and I kind of pull it back, and hidden in the attic is an original Rembrandt. And I took art history in college, so I know it's an original Rembrandt. Suspend your disbelief on that. I did not take art history in college. But I know it's an original Rembrandt, and I know from my art history, it's worth about $10 million. The problem is you didn't bother to go up in the attic because you're worried about the garden. The chef, he's still in the kitchen. The seller of the house never bothered to look behind that drywall in the attic, so they don't know that it's up there. The realtor does. I'm the only one that knows that it's up there. Now, am I gonna come downstairs and tell the realtor and the seller of the house, hey, by the way, I found $10 million more in your attic? No. I'm gonna outbid you and I'm gonna outbid the chef no matter what. But I'm not gonna bid 10 million. I might bid $1.2 million. And the chef might go to $1.3 million and I'll go, fine, I'll go to $1.5 million. I'm gonna pay for that Rembrandt, but if you don't know that it's there, the chef doesn't know, the seller of the house doesn't know, only I know, I'm gonna extract all this value from this asset that only I know about. When you sell companies, we've never worked with a company where we didn't find not just one, but lots of Rembrandts in their attics. So many times, it's the stuff that a company is so good at, it's so fundamental to how they operate, they don't even think that it's worth anything, right? Maybe it's a process, maybe it's some software they wrote, maybe customer list, whatever it is. But buyers, sophisticated buyers, are really good at finding those Rembrandts and either getting them for free or wildly underpaying for them. So when we advise clients, what we talk about is you need to go in your attic and you need to do some inventory and you need to really figure out, okay, what are the things that you're so good at? What are the things that drive your business that a buyer would kill to have? And I'd kill to have the Rembrandt in the attic because I know I can get $10 million from it. Buyers of companies are looking for things that they would kill to have, but they don't want to pay for. So unsuspecting sellers that don't know what Rembrandts they have in their attic are always going to leave money on the table. So it's really important to know kind of what your strategic value drivers are for each individual buyer, or you're giving it away.
Are you the song guy?
Yeah, I am some guy. That is correct. So I've told this story many times. And yes, Russell Brunson did hear me tell this story at the very first 100K meeting. And then a couple years later, he did a podcast and he said, yeah, I heard some guy tell this story about Rembrandts in the Attic. He got it mostly right in his podcast. He might have missed a few things, but he did say in his podcast that it had changed his whole philosophy about how he was thinking about buying companies.
He's been acquiring a bunch of companies.
And based on a lot he said in his podcast, based on that talk that he heard. And so it works both ways. It's actually interesting you brought that up. If you're buying companies, you should absolutely learn how to find Rembrandts in unsuspecting sellers' attics. And it's buyer beware, seller beware. If the seller's not going to take the time to really understand, it's not your responsibility as the buyer to tell me that I'm leaving money on the table as the seller. And that's what Russell's doing. He's out buying companies where he finds things that he can extract value from that are totally not either understood by the seller or the seller takes for granted or the seller doesn't connect those dots. And it's become a huge part of his strategy. So yeah, I'm the some guy that shared that story first. Thanks for asking me that, because I make fun of myself about that all the time.
Yeah.
I was gonna start a podcast and call it the Some Guy Podcast, but we never.
Not to do that.
You did. You were the one who told me not to do that. That's correct. Some guy.